is June 17th, Wednesday. We've got 5 items on the agenda. Colleagues, I would propose that we make items 3, 4, and 5 consent items. Would you all agree?
Yes.
Mr. Kretz?
I think that's fine.
Very good. We'll go ahead and move those items on consent. We do have cards on some of these, so why don't we do this? For items 3, 4, and 5, we will take public testimony now before we dispense with that. So let me go ahead and read cards that we've got for those. Herman Wayne Spindler. And that's it. Are they present? Doesn't look like it. We'll go ahead and close public comment, and those items are deemed approved. Now, colleagues, item number 1 has been noticed as a closed session item in the event that we've got to go to. I'm willing to move it. I just wanted to see if you all wanted to get into closed session to discuss it. Mr. Kretz, would you like to go into closed session?
Yeah, I think we probably should.
Okay, very good. So let's go ahead and table that for a second, and let's go ahead and take item number 2. We'll go ahead and open public comment on item number 2. Let me see here. Is Mr. Herman or Mr. Spindler here? All right, don't see them, so we'll go ahead and close public comment and move on to our presentation with item number 2.
Item number 2 relates to joint CAO Economic Workforce Development Department report relative to revised terms in connection with direct sale of property located at 6000 Jefferson Boulevard. You have staff from the department as well as the CAO's office.
Colleagues, this is a pretty simple one. I think we could move quickly. I'm willing to entertain a motion for approval unless you all have questions. Very good. Mr. Kretz?
I do have a question. Because they're buying it from the city, is there any requirement for the business to follow the city's good food purchasing guidelines or anything in that direction? And are they required, or are we putting anything into the contract to ask that they follow best environmental practices or energy efficiency, water efficiency, any of those things?
Good afternoon, Josh Romer from the Office of the City Administrative Officer.
Jenny Scanlon with Economic and Workforce Development Department.
So in general, to answer your question, this transaction is a fair market value transaction. The city isn't necessarily providing any sort of benefits or any discounts to the property. So generally the city's policies that would normally apply to a situation in which we're actually providing economic assistance don't necessarily apply. The project, however, will need to conform to the city planning's general guidelines that have been adopted for industrial uses, and they do have a proposed package of environmental, I don't believe it's LEED certified, but it does promise to be a new energy efficient development.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Blumenfield?
So the reason for selling it instead of leasing it, is there an economic reason for that, or is it just easier?
Early in discussions with the developer was amenable to either sort of a situation. When we did an appraisal on a long-term ground lease versus a sale, it was generally around the same amount, and the buyer developer's preference was a purchase.
Very good. Hearing and seeing no additional comments or questions, we'll go ahead and move that item to approve the CAO and the Economic Workforce Development Department's request for authority to execute revised terms of sale for the city-owned property at 6000 Jefferson Boulevard to a limited liability corporation controlled by Sonny Sassoon and the International Coffee and Tea as specified. Very good. That brings us to item number 1. Colleagues, we are going to go into closed session. Mr. Prieto?
Sure. Item number 1 relates to DWP report and resolution. We're all to propose agreement with Geisel Law Firm, LLP, and Parity Law Group for services of special counsel in the case of City of Los Angeles versus PricewaterhouseCoopers.
Very good. With that, we will have folks who are here on that item, city staff only. You can Mr. Spindler. Very good. Looks like actually council's here.
Yes.
So Mr. Koretz, if you'd like to have the council who is contracting with us to answer some questions, we can go back into closed session.
At least briefly, that would be.
All right,
Great.
so we're going back to closed session.
You gotta stay. Have the council.
You all, council, come on up, yeah. All right, we're back on. Item number one, the recommendation, barring any sort of objection, is to approve the DWP City Attorney's request for authority to execute legal service agreements with Kiesel LLP and Paradis Law Group as special counsel for matters related to the City of Los Angeles v. PricewaterhouseCoopers LLP. Hearing and seeing no objection, that shall be the order. That moves us to public comment. Wayne Spindler, Armando Herman, John Walsh. No public comment. We are adjourned. Thank you.